Hey, Happy New Year's, Patreon fam. January 1st today. We survived 2021. Let's see what we can all do with 2022. I'm going to show you today a couple little water projects I'm having to work on. We are being blessed, let's say, with a very wet, rainy winter here. After last winter was a major drought, so we give thanks for all this rain, but it's leading to a lot of work outside, a lot of water flowing on the land. I'm here at Heal Thyself Gardens, Tamara's farm. Here we've got a water bar that's moving a lot of water off her driveway into that culvert. You can see we've got a couple water bars on the driveway there that catch a lot of this water that runs. And we've got a few areas we need to fix. We've got a lot of water that's coming down the driveway right here. I'm actually going to put in a little drainage ditch that's going to move the water over there into that first water bar, across the road, down into this drainage ditch right there. That's one of the projects. Another major project we have is this is a big water source that flows through Heal Thyself Gardens, and it's supposed to stay in this ditch, but you can see it's coming from over the hill there. Look at all this brush right there. This is a hugel that we started to build and never got it covered up with dirt, but you can see we laid out all the branches, and you can see that water is just running along that hugel. Well, what happened was up here, the creek actually got dammed. When we had such a big water event, you can see here these branches in the stream actually caught all these leaves and looks like a little bit of trash, and it actually dammed up the creek, and now it's overflowing right there. It's supposed to be going down there. It's overflowing right there onto the bank, and it's running along that bank alongside that hugel over there, where it then goes back into the main channel. So I'm going to come back through, and I need to open this up. We need the water flowing through there. Next summer I'm going to cut all these branches down, cut this all out of here to really open up that channel and make sure that doesn't happen again. So that's a big project I'm going to start on right now. We've got a couple more problem spots that are really important that we're going to try to clear, but this is the main one on the farm we need to deal with. So I'm going to go get a couple tools. I'm going to get a shovel and a breaker bar. I'm going to start on one end, and we'll start clearing this thing and see if we can get this water flowing where it's supposed to be. Alright, check it out in a little bit. Okay, got this little stream all cleared out. I was able to do it with just the shovel. I didn't have to use the digging bar. One little plastic trash bag seems like it started all the problem. Yeah, this water's flowing good now, but I am going to want to clear these thin trees out of here before next winter. And I'm going to have to keep an eye on this spot. You can see that's all material I dug out of there. Take you across to the other side, and I'll show you where the water was overflowing and what did it do over here. You can see that's where it was being diverted out of the creek. Came down here, you can see all this silt, and this little beginning of a hugel on contour actually did its job. It actually kept the water moving along here, charged up that whole hugel, and then it was overflowing over here into the creek, but deposited all that good silt right there, which we'll actually just throw right on top of that hugel, bury that wood. So making the most of it. Wintertime, you got to get out and monitor your land and look at where the water's flowing. I got a couple more problem areas I'm going to show you and show you how we remedy them. Now we've got this little flow coming down this driveway up there. Coming right down the driveway here. It's not much right now. It hasn't rained in a couple days, but you can see it's doing a lot of damage. And we actually have this little infiltration pond right here. So I'm going to dig a little ditch right here, little ditch on contour. It'll have a little angle to it, but it's going to catch that water, get it right down here into this infiltration pond. And this is right above what we call Tamara's goddess garden, where she grows her personal use cannabis. And it's gonna sink that water in. That garden's all hugel beds. You can see those beautiful hugel mounds over there. But this water is gonna pool up here and slowly sink into the ground. And then when it overflows, it's gonna overflow at the back near that fir tree and out the back of her garden. So another problem spot, instead of this water, this energy rushing off this property as quickly as it can with as much as your topsoil as it can move, we're slowing it down, we're spreading it out, we're sinking it into the landscape so that we can use it later in the season. So let me start cranking away on this and I'll get right back to you. Okay, quick and easy, tiny little water bar there. Catch that water coming down the road, move it right where we want it. It's going to start filling up this this pond once we get another nice rain. So we'll check back in once it gets raining again. I'll come back, I'll reinforce these berms. It's better to do this work in the rain, in a heavy downpour. Then you know where the water's moving, all the soil's really wet and muddy, you can move it around, do whatever kind of earthworks you need to do. So I'll come back next time we get some heavy rainfall and check all these out. Look at that beautiful snow on those mountains. So I got another water project. This is the Fay Garden. This is our future hemp farm here, hopefully, if all goes according to plan. These big beautiful hugel beds here. These hugels are all built on contour, so they catch a lot of water. And there was a lot of water catching on this one hugel. And I suspect that there might even be a spring under this one hugel, because look at these big holes that appeared in the soil just from the water buildup. So there's a lot of water that builds up behind this hugel, and it was overflowing. And that very first video clip I showed you, the water coming down the hill by the driveway that we're going to divert down at the bottom. But really you want to try to divert your water up at the top and cycle it through as many of these systems as possible before it reaches way down there below the solar panels where the culvert is, where we're trying to stop more damage to the road. So I've got water overflowing out of this hugel, comes down here, and it's just been going right down the road there. So I'm putting in a little ditch right here. I already started digging it, and I'm going to wrap the water around so it goes into this bed. So it's going to start flooding this hugel and running down this bed on contour here. And then I'll do the same thing here where it overflows here. I'll put in another ditch right here and get that water flowing into this next hugel. Ideally, the ends of each one of these hugels would extend farther than the one above it, so the water would just overflow into it and then overflow into the next one. But this garden wasn't built perfectly on contour. I believe the whole thing slopes to my side from that far side, so did as good as a job as could have been done with some slopey land and some janky heavy equipment. So that's the plan for this one. Get that water flowing into these hugels so that it sinks deep into that wood, acts as a water reservoir in those dry months. So I'm gonna dig this one out and I'll show you when I get done with it. All right, this is what I worked up. Water's gonna overflow out of that hugel, go into this little swale there, shoot the water out there so it pools up along this swale, and then it's gonna come down here and overflow down into this next hugel down here, and it'll pool up down here. And I don't really know, is it going to try to overflow right over that low spot in the bed? That's what I suspect. So I'm going to wait till the next rain to keep working on this spot. But I got two more trouble areas I'm going to work on, and then we'll call it a day. So I need to make one little berm in front of this yurt. This is Tamara's little kitchen for her woofers. When we have events, we cook here. Little guest yurt. But you can see all this silt was coming down out of that overflow from the hugel garden, the Fay garden. And part of that overflow is running right down here, right to the doorstep of the yurt. So I'm just going to put in a little water bar, starting kind of right where the shovel head is, running out this way, moving that water down and around the yurt, back out towards my drainages. Eventually we're gonna have to go in and clean out that silt in the entryway there. And there we go, just a tiny little berm. Catch that water, move it out around the yurt. So this is the last ditch we're gonna put in for the day, and it's also the first one I started out talking about. This was overflow from the Fay Garden, that hugel that we just worked on up there. It's still most likely gonna overflow out of those hugels at some point and still come running down here. So in the last big rain flow, it was running right down here, right across the driveway, and over there to where that culvert starts, where those rocks are stacked up. We don't want it running across the road right there. I want it running over there. There's a water bar right there. So I'm gonna dig a ditch, more of a little water bar, just a little berm. It's gonna move this water over here, where it's then going to run down here into this water bar. You can see the water running across the road there, where it then goes into the ditch on that side of the road and into the culvert. And then this crucial part of our driveway will stay much drier during the winter months. Won't get muddy. This culvert won't get washed away. Right now, this little stream of water is what's coming down there. And you can see it's eating away at this culvert right here that we've armored with these rocks. So by putting that bar in, moving the water from coming down there to over there, we'll be able to get it in the ditch, drain down right there, take some pressure off our roads, slow this water down a little bit. So that's the last move of the day. Okay, there it is. Last little ditch. Gonna catch that water. I also made it wide enough so it can catch the water coming down the left side of the yurt right there. Honestly, I slacked on this one a little bit. It's really hard, rocky soil right here. I'm tired. It's the end of the day. And all I had was a shovel. I couldn't find a pickaxe, so got the job done. We cleared about 5 or 6 spots that needed a little attention. All the water will be flowing on this property a little better next time we have some rain. That's it, y'all. Happy New Year. I hope you guys can manage the water on your property in a good way. And I hope the water is flowing for you this coming year. Many blessings to you all. Thank you again for your support. And I hope we all get to grow a lot this coming year in many different ways. Love you guys. Much love.